Today we're going to talk about building an emergency fund. A hugely important concept for running a small business, being prepared for worst case scenarios. We all know we don't build a business to get into a worst case scenario, but we absolutely have to be prepared for one if that happens. And so what is an emergency fund? Well, simply put, they're reserves that are set aside and easily and quickly accessible in case we run into a rainy day. So right now we're in an environment, usually most businesses are, where we could get into a situation where volatile, uncertain, complex, or ambiguous dynamics are in front of us. Labor shortages, competition, customer demand changes, material cost increases. JP Morgan actually had a study that concluded 25% of small businesses held fewer than 13 days of a reserve buffer. And so because we know that small businesses have a lot of challenges to actually save, we also know that those who are really prepared increase the odds of surviving unanticipated challenges. And so here's a few pros of having an emergency fund. You reduce your risk, you prevent the ability or responsibility to go into your personal funds, you avoid credit reputation risks. Some of the cons are sometimes there's investment limits in terms of how much you can actually save, or there's a lack of return on the funds, i.e. your opportunity cost. So here's a few things to keep in mind. When you're planning to build an emergency fund, identify a reserve ratio for your budget and set automatic contributions that'll help you to create clear targets and promote discipline and consistency. Say 10 to 30% of your revenue and transfer a small amount from each transaction. Make sure you establish clear criteria or triggers to make reserve spending as objective as possible, and actually know what your worst case scenarios are. That'll help you to make sure you're really clear on what your mission critical priorities will be if you get into a situation where you have to tap into your emergency fund. Last but not least, SCORE has an abundance of resources. One I highly encourage you to check out. SCORE has a resource called Preparing a Cash Budget on Demand course. It's a free online business workshop that'll help you determine your cash flow reserve requirements in terms of your budget. So hopefully this was very helpful for you, and good luck creating your emergency fund.